The stark white corridors of Station Beta's Galactic Medical Center gleamed under the artificial lights as Dr. Anna Reed walked through them for the first time. Her footsteps echoed against the polished floor, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. As Earth's first xenobiologist assigned to this prestigious facility, she carried the hopes and expectations of humanity on her shoulders. The station's circular windows revealed the vast expanse of space, dotted with unfamiliar stars and the occasional passing spacecraft. Anna adjusted her white medical coat, making sure her Earth Medical Corps badge was clearly visible. She had spent years studying alien physiology, but nothing could have prepared her for what she was about to encounter. "Dr. Reed," a melodic voice called out from behind her. Anna turned to find herself face to face with a tall, slender being whose skin seemed to shimmer with a subtle blue iridescence. The alien's large, almond-shaped eyes studied her with obvious curiosity. "Yes, that's me," Anna replied, resisting the urge to extend her hand for a handshake, a habit she'd been warned to suppress. The being before her was Dr. Blue, a member of the Light Ones, a species known for their advanced medical knowledge and unusual touch telepathic abilities. "Welcome to Station Beta. I am your assigned mentor," Dr. Blue said, maintaining a careful distance. "Please follow me to the orientation chamber. And remember, no physical contact." As they walked, Anna noticed how Dr. Blue gracefully glided along, never coming closer than 3 meters to anyone they passed. Other members of the Light Ones moved with similar precision, like dancers performing an elaborate avoidance routine. The orientation chamber turned out to be a large, circular room filled with holographic displays of various alien anatomies. Dr. Blue gestured toward a floating diagram of human neural pathways. "We have studied your species extensively," Dr. Blue explained, their voice carrying a hint of fascination. "Your nervous system is unique, so primitive, yet so resilient." Anna raised an eyebrow. "Primitive? I mean no offense," Dr. Blue quickly added. "It's just that your species lacks touch telepathic capabilities. You cannot share thoughts and emotions through skin contact. You cannot feel the neural patterns of others. It must be lonely." Anna couldn't help but smile. "We manage just fine. Physical touch means something different to us. It can be comforting, healing even, without the need for telepathic connection." Dr. Blue's head tilted slightly, a gesture Anna recognized as confusion. How can touch be healing without neural synchronization? Before Anna could respond, an emergency alert blared through the station's communication system. Red lights flashed across the pristine white walls. "Emergency in Dock 7. Touch telepathic overload. All Light 1 medical staff clear the area." Dr. Blue's shimmer changed to a darker shade, a sign of distress Anna remembered from her studies. "This is not good. A damaged neural pattern can cascade through any of my kind who tries to help." Anna watched as panic spread through the facility. The Light Ones were retreating from the dock area, leaving a patient in need of help. Their gift of touch telepathy had become their greatest weakness in this crisis. "What about non-telepathic species?" Anna asked, already moving toward Dock 7. "Could we help?" "Stop," Dr. Blue called out. "It's against protocol. We don't know how a human nervous system would interact with a damaged telepathic field. The risk is too great." But Anna had already made up her mind. Years of medical training and human instinct told her that someone needed help, and she could provide it. As she rushed toward Dock 7, Dr. Blue's protests faded behind her. What she didn't know then was that this moment would change everything, not just for her, but for human-alien relations throughout the galaxy. Sometimes the greatest discoveries come from following your instincts, even when they go against established protocols. And as she ran toward the emergency, Anna Reed had no idea that she was about to discover just how special a human's touch could be in a universe full of telepathic beings. Anna burst through the doors of Dock 7, her medical kit clutched tightly in her hands. The scene before her was chaos. A Light One lay convulsing on the floor, their normally iridescent skin pulsing with dark, sickly colors. Around them, medical equipment lay scattered, some of it sparking from apparent overload. The patient's neural shock was so intense that it had affected all the nearby electronics. Anna quickly noted how none of the Light One medical staff dared to enter the area, their faces showing clear distress as they watched from behind protective barriers. "Human, you must leave immediately," one of the senior medical officers called out. "The neural feedback could cause permanent damage to your mind." But Anna noticed something strange. While all the Light Ones were clearly affected by the patient's condition, she felt nothing beyond ordinary human concern and a slight tingling sensation in the air. She pulled out her medical scanner, keeping her movements slow and deliberate. The readings were off the charts. The patient's neural activity was spiraling out of control, creating waves of telepathic energy that threatened to overwhelm any touch-sensitive being that came near. Without immediate intervention, brain death was certain. "Dr. Reed." Dr. Blue's voice came through her communicator. "The patient is Ambassador Lee of our Central Worlds. He suffered a massive neural shock when his ship's psi shields failed during docking. Please, you must evacuate." Anna looked at the suffering ambassador, then at her own hands. "Dr. Blue, I'm not feeling the neural feedback everyone's talking about. Could that mean something?" There was a pause on the other end. "Impossible. The feedback field is strong enough to disable our medical equipment. Unless your primitive nervous system is acting as some kind of insulator." Anna finished the thought. She was already pulling on her medical gloves. "I'm going to attempt contact." "No, the risk is." Anna turned off her communicator. Years of emergency room experience on Earth had taught her that sometimes you had to trust your instincts. She approached the ambassador carefully, medical scanner still tracking his vital signs. The closer she got, the more the tingling sensation increased, but it wasn't unpleasant, more like static electricity on a dry day. The ambassador's convulsions were getting worse, his skin now almost black with distress. Taking a deep breath, Anna knelt beside him. "Ambassador Lee, I'm Dr. Reed from Earth. I'm going to try to help you, but I need to touch you. Please, try to stay calm." She placed her gloved hand on his arm. The effect was immediate and stunning. The ambassador's convulsions slowed, and the dark coloring of his skin began to fade slightly. The medical scanner showed his neural patterns beginning to stabilize. Through the observation window, she could see the Light One medical staff watching in amazement. Dr. Blue had returned and was frantically taking readings with various instruments. Anna removed her glove and placed her bare hand on the ambassador's forehead. The improvement accelerated, his color returning to a healthy blue shimmer, his breathing becoming regular. The scanner confirmed what she could see. The neural feedback was being absorbed or somehow neutralized by her touch. "Remarkable," the ambassador whispered weakly, his eyes focusing on her. "Your touch, it silences the chaos. How is this possible?" "I don't know," Anna replied honestly, maintaining contact as his vital signs continued to normalize. "But we're going to find out." Through the window, she could see Dr. Blue gesturing excitedly to other medical staff, pointing at readings and speaking rapidly. Whatever was happening here was unprecedented, and Anna knew that her first emergency on Station Beta had just opened up a whole new field of xenomedicine. As she helped the ambassador sit up, supported by her steady human hands, Anna couldn't help but smile at the irony. The Light Ones had called human nervous systems primitive, but sometimes the simplest solutions were the most effective. Sometimes, all it took was a human's touch to make all the difference in the universe. The medical conference room of Station Beta buzzed with tension as Anna stood before the assembled board of alien doctors. Her recent actions with Ambassador Lee had violated at least 7 different medical protocols, but the results couldn't be ignored. The ambassador himself sat at the head of the table, his skin now showing healthy blue patterns. Dr. Reed, the chief medical officer, a stern-looking Light One named Dr. Ray, began. "While we cannot deny the positive outcome of your intervention, Your actions were extremely reckless. You could have died." Anna stood her ground, pulling up holographic displays of her medical readings. "With respect, sir, I think we've discovered something revolutionary. Look at these neural pattern readings." The displays showed how human touch had created a dampening field around the ambassador's overloaded neural pathways. Dr. Blue, standing beside Anna, highlighted specific data points. "The human nervous system appears to act as a natural buffer," Dr. Blue explained. "It neither receives nor transmits telepathic energy. Instead, it seems to absorb and disperse it harmlessly." Ambassador Lee raised his hand, his expression serene. "I can personally attest to the effectiveness of Dr. Reed's treatment. When she touched me, it was like finding silence in the middle of a storm. The chaos in my mind, it simply stopped." The board members murmured among themselves, their skin colors shifting through various shades of uncertainty. Dr. Ray leaned forward, his large eyes fixed on Anna. "You propose to continue these experiments?" he asked. "Yes," Anna replied firmly. "With willing participants and proper safety measures. Think about what this could mean for emergency medicine among touch telepathic species." The ambassador nodded. "I support this research. My experience proves that humans may possess healing abilities we never considered possible." Dr. Ray's skin flickered with patterns of concern. "The regulations exist for a reason, Dr. Reed. Direct physical contact between species has led to disasters before. But none involving humans," Dr. Blue interjected. "Our previous experiences were with other telepathic races. Humans are different." Anna pulled up another display, this one showing the moment she first touched the ambassador. The readings were clear. While every piece of electronic equipment in the vicinity had malfunctioned, her own vital signs had remained stable. "We're natural insulators," she explained. "Our nervous systems evolved without telepathic abilities, making us uniquely suited to help in cases of neural overflow." The board members watched the replay, their colors shifting to shades of interest and curiosity. Dr. Ray remained silent for a long moment, his skin rippling with thought patterns. "Very well," he finally said. "I will authorize a limited research program, but there will be strict protocols. No unauthorized contact. All experiments must be monitored and recorded, and at the first sign of danger to either species, we shut it down." Anna nodded, relief flooding through her. "Thank you, sir. We'll begin setting up proper testing parameters immediately." As the board members filed out, Ambassador Lee approached Anna. He kept a respectful distance, but his skin glowed with warm colors of gratitude. "You took a great risk to help me, Dr. Reed," he said softly. "My people have long viewed human physical contact as primitive and unnecessary. We were wrong. There is wisdom in your evolution that we are only beginning to understand." Dr. Blue joined them, already pulling up research schedules on a holographic display. "This could change everything we know about interspecies medicine. Anna, your violation of protocol might have opened up an entirely new field of study." Anna smiled, looking at her very human hands. They seemed so ordinary, yet they had just revolutionized alien medicine. Sometimes the greatest discoveries came from breaking the rules, from following human instincts instead of established protocols. As she began planning the research with Dr. Blue, Anna couldn't help but wonder what other surprises human touch might hold for the galaxy. They were just beginning to scratch the surface of this discovery, and the possibilities seemed endless. The research lab on Station Beta had been transformed over the past week. Holographic displays covered the walls, showing countless neural patterns and data streams. Anna sat at her workstation, reviewing the latest test results while Dr. Blue analyzed readings from their most recent experiment. "Look at this pattern," Anna said, highlighting a particular wave sequence. "Every time human touch is introduced, the neural chaos in Light 1 subjects immediately begins to organize itself." Dr. Blue moved closer to the display, their skin shimmering with excitement. "It's not just organization, it's healing. The human nervous system somehow guides disrupted telepathic patterns back to their natural state. Their latest test subject, a Light One engineer named Bright, sat on the examination table. They had volunteered after suffering a minor neural shock while repairing the station's psi shields. Anna approached them, medical scanner in hand. "Ready for another test?" she asked. Bright's skin flickered with nervous anticipation. "Yes. The last session was remarkable." The lingering discord in my mind cleared completely. Anna placed her hand on Bright's shoulder. The readings on the scanner immediately showed the now familiar pattern: disrupted neural energy being smoothly channeled and dispersed through Anna's touch. Bright's skin color shifted to peaceful shades of blue. "Fascinating," Dr. Ray said from the doorway, making them all turn. The chief medical officer had been increasingly interested in their research. "We're receiving reports from other medical stations. They're seeing the same results with human medical staff." Anna nodded, still maintaining contact with Bright. "It's not just emergency treatment anymore. We're finding that regular, brief contact with humans can help prevent neural buildup in Light Ones who work with sensitive equipment." Dr. Blue pulled up more data streams. "The implications are enormous. Many of our technological limitations exist because of our sensitivity to neural feedback. With human assistance, we could push those boundaries." "There's more," Anna said, ending the contact with Bright. "We've discovered that different humans have slightly different dampening effects. Some are better at handling acute cases, while others excel at long-term therapeutic contact." Dr. Ray moved to examine the data himself. "Have you determined why?" "We think it's related to individual nervous system variations," Dr. Blue explained. "Just as Light Ones have different telepathic strengths, humans have different dampening capabilities." Anna pulled up a new series of charts. "We've also found that emotional state plays a role. Humans who are calm and focused tend to have stronger dampening effects." "Like human meditation?" Bright asked, standing up from the examination table. "We've observed your species' practices of mental quieting." "Exactly," Anna replied. "We're developing a training program for human medical staff, combining traditional medical knowledge with meditation techniques." Dr. Ray's skin showed patterns of deep thought. "The Council will want to know about this. This discovery could reshape our entire approach to space medicine." Just then, another Light One rushed into the lab, their skin pulsing with urgent colors. "Dr. Ray, the Engineering Corps reports successful tests of the new human-shielded psi drives." The news sent ripples of excitement through the Light Ones present. The psi drive project had been stalled for years due to neural feedback issues. The addition of human operators had apparently solved the problem. "You see," Dr. Blue said, their skin practically glowing, "this is just the beginning. Human touch isn't just healing. It's advancing our technology, opening new possibilities." Anna watched as her alien colleagues discussed the implications, their skin colors shifting in complex patterns of excitement and wonder. From violating protocols in an emergency, they had stumbled upon something that was changing the very foundation of Light One society. Dr. Ray turned to Anna. "Dr. Reed, we'll need to expand your research immediately. The Council is already asking about establishing permanent human medical presence on all major Light One facilities." Anna smiled, remembering how just weeks ago, her primitive nervous system had been seen as a disadvantage. Now it was proving to be one of humanity's greatest gifts to the galaxy. As she began outlining plans for expanded research, Anna knew they were standing at the beginning of a new era in human-alien cooperation, all because of the simple power of human touch. The protest outside Station Beta's main medical center grew larger by the hour. Hundreds of Light Ones gathered, their skin flashing angry patterns of red and black. They carried holographic signs with messages like "Preserve pure evolution" and "Stop human interference." Anna watched from her lab window as Dr. Blue entered, their skin showing worried patterns. "The Conservative Coalition is gaining support. They're calling our research genetic corruption through primitive contact. How can they ignore the results?" Anna asked, gesturing to their wall of successful case studies. "We've helped hundreds of patients. They're claiming we're becoming dependent on humans, Dr. Blue explained. Leader Dark is giving a speech now. They activated the main view screen, where a tall light one with deep purple skin stood addressing the crowd. Leader Dark's voice boomed through the station's communication system. For millennia, our species has evolved to perfect our neural capabilities. Now these humans would have us believe our evolution was flawed, that we need their primitive touch to function. This is an insult to our ancestors. The crowd's skin patterns pulsed in agreement. Anna noticed several of her Light One patients in the gathering, their colors showing confusion and doubt. Dr. Reed. Ambassador Lee rushed into the lab, his usual calm demeanor disturbed. A conservative coalition has submitted a motion to the council. They want to ban all human touch therapy and research. Anna felt her heart sink. They can't do that. What about the patients who depend on the treatments now? The coalition claims they can develop alternative therapies, Dr. Blue said, their skin showing patterns of frustration. But we know that could take years, if it's even possible. Just then, a group of protesters broke through the medical center's outer security barrier. Their angry colors filled the corridors as they approached the research lab. Stop the human corruption, they chanted. Return to pure evolution. Security forces rushed to contain the situation, but the damage was already done. Several Light One medical staff who had supported their research were now backing away, their skin showing uncertainty. We need to do something, Anna said firmly. These people don't understand what they're rejecting. Ambassador Lee's skin flickered thoughtfully. Perhaps they need to see for themselves. He walked to the lab's entrance and opened the doors, facing the protesters directly. His diplomatic status made them pause. I was dying, he announced, his voice carrying through the crowd. When no Light One could help me, when our advanced technology failed, it was human touch that saved my life. Would you call my survival corruption? The protesters' colors wavered. Leader Dark pushed forward. One emergency case does not justify changing our entire society. Then explain this, Dr. Blue said, activating the lab's external displays. They showed hundreds of cases, Light One children freed from neural disorders, engineers protected from feedback, elderly patients finding relief from telepathic degradation. We're not changing your society. Anna stepped forward, addressing the crowd. We're offering a gift, a natural compatibility between our species that no one expected. You don't have to choose between evolution and progress. They can work together. The protesters' colors began to shift, showing signs of internal conflict. A young Light One stepped forward, their skin pulsing with personal distress. I have been suffering from neural feedback, they admitted. Our traditional treatments haven't helped. Could humans really help me? Before Leader Dark could intervene, Anna extended her hand. Would you like to find out? The young Light One hesitated, then reached out. As their hand met Anna's, their chaotic skin patterns immediately began to calm. The crowd watched in stunned silence as peace spread across the young one's features. It's true, they whispered, their voice carrying in the quiet. The pain, it's gone. Leader Dark's protest died in his throat as more Light Ones from the crowd stepped forward, their colors showing hope rather than anger. The resistance wasn't over. But as Anna watched understanding spread through the gathering, she knew they had won an important battle. Sometimes the best way to fight fear was with simple truth and the healing power of a human's touch. Alarms blared throughout Station Beta, their urgent wailing accompanied by flashing red emergency lights. Anna ran toward the source of the crisis, her heart pounding as Dr. Blue's voice came through the station-wide communication system. Major accident in the PTI engineering sector. Multiple neural shock casualties. All Light One medical personnel must maintain safe distance. The scene that greeted Anna when she reached the engineering bay was chaos. A failed experimental PSI drive had exploded, sending waves of uncontrolled telepathic energy through the section. Dozens of Light One engineers lay scattered across the floor, their skin flickering between dangerous shades of black and gray. Dr. Reed. Dr. Ray called out from the observation room. The feedback is too strong. We can't get near them. Anna quickly assessed the situation. How many humans do we have on station with therapeutic training? 23. Dr. Blue answered, checking the roster. But this many casualties at once. Get them all here. Now. Anna was already pulling on her medical gear. And contact the human transport ship that docked yesterday. We need every human volunteer we can get. Within minutes, human medical staff began arriving. Anna quickly organized them into teams, assigning the strongest dampeners to the most critical cases. The humans moved through the field of injured light ones while their alien colleagues watched in amazement. Remember your training. Anna called out as she knelt beside a severely affected engineer. Stay calm. Maintain steady contact, and let your natural dampening do its work. The scene transformed as humans made contact with the injured. Where there had been chaos and pain, islands of stability began to form. The violent neural feedback that had filled the air started to dissipate. It's working. Dr. Blue's skin showed patterns of joy as they monitored the readings. The combined effect of multiple human dampeners is creating safe zones. More human volunteers arrived from the transport ship, merchants, tourists, and crew members who had only basic training in therapeutic touch. Anna quickly paired them with experienced staff, creating a chain of human contact that could reach more victims. Their neural patterns are stabilizing, Dr. Ray reported, watching the medical scanners. This is unprecedented. We've never been able to treat mass neural shock this effectively. One by one, the injured light ones began to regain consciousness. Their skin colors shifted from dangerous black to healthier shades as human touch guided their neural patterns back to normal. How? Leader Dark stood in the doorway, having arrived to witness the scene. His earlier protests against human intervention died on his lips as he watched the mass recovery taking place. This is why we need each other, Anna said, not taking her hands from her patient. Your people's greatest vulnerability is our natural strength. We can help each other in ways neither species expected. The last of the injured were stabilized. 47 light ones have been treated successfully with no losses. It was a medical miracle by any standard. Dr. Blue approached Leader Dark, their skin showing clear patterns of triumph. Will you still claim this is corruption? Or will you acknowledge that this is evolution? Two species finding strength in their differences. Leader Dark's skin rippled with complex emotions. Finally, he spoke. I was wrong. What I've seen here today, this is not weakness. This is proof that the universe has plans we cannot always understand. As the human volunteers helped the recovered light ones to their feet, Anna saw the future taking shape. The last barriers of resistance were falling, not through argument or politics, but through the simple, undeniable evidence of lives saved. Dr. Ray approached her, his skin glowing with respect. Dr. Reed, the council is convening an emergency session. They want to establish permanent human medical presence on all major Light One facilities. Will you help us design the program? Anna looked around at the humans and Light Ones working together, at the harmony that had emerged from crisis. Yes, she said. This is just the beginning. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come not from technology or telepathy, but from the simple willingness to reach out and touch another being in need. 1 year after the engineering bay crisis, Anna stood at the observation window of Station Beta's newly inaugurated Human Touch Therapy Ward. The massive facility sparkled with state-of-the-art medical equipment, but its most important feature was its staff. Hundreds of human therapists working alongside Light One medical personnel. Quite a change from when you first arrived, Dr. Blue said, joining her at the window. Their skin shimmered with proud, peaceful colors. Remember how we used to call human nervous systems primitive? Anna smiled, watching a human therapist help a young Light One practice neural control exercises. We've all learned a lot since then. Your people's relationship with physical contact has completely transformed. Through the treatment areas, humans and Light Ones moved in careful coordination, What had once been feared was now celebrated, the natural harmony between human touch and Light One telepathy. The latest statistics are remarkable, Dr. Ray announced, entering with a holographic report. Neural shock incidents are down 80% across all Light One facilities with human medical staff. Chronic telepathic disorders have decreased by 65%. Ambassador Lee, who had become a regular visitor to the ward, stepped forward. And it goes beyond medicine. Our engineering teams have made unprecedented advances with human partners. The new Psi-Drive systems are revolutionizing space travel. Anna nodded, remembering their early struggles. And the Conservative Coalition. Disbanded last month, Dr. Blue reported, their skin showing amusement. Leader Dark is now heading the Human Integration Committee. He's particularly interested in expanding human presence to our educational facilities. The ward's main doors opened as a group of new human medical trainees entered, accompanied by their Light One instructors. They came from Earth and a dozen human colonies, drawn by the opportunity to help shape this new era of interspecies cooperation. Dr. Reed, one of the trainees, called out, "Is it true you were the first to discover human dampening abilities?" "Not exactly," Anna replied. "I just followed my instincts during an emergency. The discovery was waiting to be made, two species with exactly what the other needed." Dr. Blue's skin rippled with thoughtful patterns. Perhaps that's what evolution truly is, not just the development of new abilities, but the discovery of how different species can complement each other. A small commotion at the ward's entrance drew their attention. A Light One child had come for their therapy session, but was showing nervous colors. The human therapist assigned to them sat down at their level, speaking softly. "It's okay to be scared," the therapist said. "But remember, my touch can't hurt you. It can only help." The child reached out hesitantly. When their hand met the therapist's, their skin immediately shifted to calmer colors. A smile spread across their face. "It feels like a quiet hug," the child said wonderingly. Anna felt her own smile growing. Moments like these made all their past struggles worthwhile. "We're opening 3 more wards next month," Dr. Ray announced. "The Council has approved full funding for human medical training programs on all major Light One worlds. And Earth has approved reciprocal programs," Anna added. "Light One telepathic healers are already helping human patients with neurological conditions we never thought could be treated." Dr. Blue's skin showed patterns of deep satisfaction. Two species, each thinking they were complete on their own, discovering they had gifts to share with each other all along. As they watched the ward's activities, Anna reflected on how far they'd come. From that first emergency touch with Ambassador Lee to this thriving facility, they had created something unprecedented in the galaxy. True symbiosis between two very different species. "The universe has so many surprises left for us," she said softly. "Who knows what other connections we'll discover?" Outside the station's windows, ships of both species moved together through space, their crews working in harmony. The future they had built was just beginning, and it had started with the simple power of a human's touch. Sometimes the greatest advances don't come from conquest or competition, but from reaching out to connect with others, discovering that what makes us different can make us stronger together.